Hey, wait a second. I feel like I've seen this game before. What is this? What the f- Alright, so I was watching horror game trailers with the homies in Twitch chat, and I was reminded of this game, and I swear I'd seen it before. Turns out I was right. It was revealed 4 damn years ago in 2021. Early 2021, actually. That's important. The game we're talking about today is Ill, a body horror action game about something. We still don't know. It's been in development for like 4 plus years, but we still don't really know much of anything. But honestly, it's because of this lack of info for the last couple years that this Team Clout, hilarious, has earned a reputation for being scammers. I myself was curious, so I started looking into it, and oh man, this stuff goes deep. Intentionally deceiving viewers, a Patreon account turned into a community crowdsourced thing for artists that don't work on the game, one of the devs pushing AI art, presenting concept trailers as gameplay reveals. We're gonna go through all that, and by the end, you can decide for yourself whether Team Clout is a scam group or not. No, you won't, because it is a scam. Well, at least it started off as one. There's a lot to unpack, so let's start off with where it all began. But first, we should address the elephant in the room. Everyone has already made their minds up about this. So we're dealing with tribes here. You're either on Team Scam or Team Damn, it's real? Because even those amongst the believers are cautiously optimistic. There are tons of videos that go over this where they call it a scam or don't, and they seem to do it with a pretty strong conviction. This puts me in like a kind of weird spot where choosing a side is like the same as choosing a tribe, and I choose to believe that everyone else is a moron except you and me. So join Team Laud and let's forget about those people in our search for the truth and willingly accept whatever the truth might be regardless of where it leads us. Free from preconceived notions and a desire to hate things for the sake of hating them, but not so free from the desire to hate that we become accustomed to mediocrity and susceptible to being used, much like your mother. This journey takes us all the way back to late January 2021. Wait, no, that's wrong. That's where someone who doesn't do their research would start. But that ain't me. This journey starts in the good old days of 2017 when the brothers Oleg and Vadim Dovenko, I hope I'm saying that right, as well as 2 other nameless, faceless developers decided they wanted to make a real video game. Because up until this point, the brothers had a history of attempting to make their own games, but never actually successfully pulling it off. And according to LinkedIn, Brother Oleg over here has been working at a mobile game studio called AMT Games as an artist for over 13 years. I say he's an artist in the company because his LinkedIn profile says he's still working there. I know some people may see mobile game experience as a red flag, but that's not how I see it. Over 10 years of experience at any game development company is more than enough to pick a lot of good habits up. So let's hope they keep those going into this new project. They don't. But on to more interesting stuff. Oleg, aka Chuvabak, his artist alias, would release the first couple of concept teases for what would eventually become Ill on December of 2017. Videos simply titled WIP, or Work in Progress, followed by a number. Now, that's obviously all great and good, but none of these people have a single game release to show for all the time they've spent working at other companies. Oleg and Vadim worked on 2 games called Stork and Spell, but nothing ever came from those personal projects. Well, that's what I initially thought. But actually, did you know Oleg is such a badass artist that his concept art became a short in a real movie called VHS Beyond? Yeah, dude, this stork look familiar? It's literally in this movie. This is mind-blowing to me because people are using the fact they've never finished a game against them, and yet this dude's concept art made it into a full-blown movie, and it's the best part of the movie. That movie sucked, except for that part. I don't know why they don't talk about this more. This kind of info would have definitely convinced some people and prevented at least some scam accusations, but it's still 2017, so we don't know nothing about that. Okay, now we can go back to 2021, forward to 2020. Back. This journey takes us all the way back to late January 2021. This reveal trailer was unbelievably successful. It was popping off all over the place, and I even remember thinking to myself that the future of gaming was going to look sick, and I was kind of right, except that the only difference is that we're the ones who are sick of being lied to. Unfortunately, this is also the case with Ill and its reveal trailer. My bladies and gentle crips, what you see on the screen is not real gameplay. All the people that tried to convince you it was because Unreal Engine 5 is a miracle engine, well, it is, but they're still wrong. These are all demonstrations and concept trailers. This might not be news to some of you, but believe it or not, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of discussions all over the internet about how these initial trailers are real gameplay, with people of the Reddit variety often saying things like, "I work in the industry. Trust me, bro, this is real." Okay, well, scam proven, right? Not quite. Shuvabak, what I'm considering lead artist on the project, outright states in his video descriptions that these are concept trailers and demonstrations. So I mean, if you fell for that one, then you're tip of the iceberg gullible, but honestly, it's not your fault if you did fall for that, because the question now becomes, why isn't it outright stated everywhere else? Why did Team Clout allow this much discussion to happen when they could have easily stepped in and cleared the air many times? Well, I wanted the answers to these questions, but it was clear to me that I would not be getting them without utilizing my ultimate weapon: unemployment money to buy access to the earliest Patreon posts. Yeah, I'm going deep. So make sure you reimburse me by liking, subscribing, and sharing this fucking thing. I need it, brother. The first thing I realized is that Team Clout is actually very transparent about everything on their Patreon. They seem to always have a secret or two, but it's nothing outside of the ordinary for a team that's trying to build hype around their game or concept of a game. Concept of a game that you would know is a concept of a game because they put it in plain English for everyone to see. But anyway, there's a lot of filler in this motherfucker, I ain't even gonna lie to you. It isn't until May 7th, 2021 that we get an update with a solid plan from Team Clout. Keep in mind, this was revealed in January of 2021, which is what it is right now. A plan to develop a fully finished demo of the game within 6 to 8 months in order to figure out how they're going to approach the full game development. Yeah, that's right. A concept of a game that leads to a concept demo of the game in order to conceptualize the full game. What the fuck is happening? Something I found kind of funny is that in their second dev post on August 23rd, 2021, they admit to planning their next public presentation of Ill despite not even having a lead programmer yet. Development is so early in scope that they're running surveys about how weapon handling should work in their game, meaning their game design document hasn't even reached the point of FPS mechanics in their FPS game. But I mean, you know, people love the way the concept trailers look, so why not do that? Well, obviously, it's because it's actually really damn hard to do something like that. It's certainly not something within the scope for a team of 4 people that consists of 2 artists and no lead programmer. Team Clout was clearly looking for investors throughout this entire time. They willingly showed a concept trailer of a game that wasn't even a single day into development as a way to secure funding for their project. It's unbelievably ambitious, but it's also undeniably deceptive, getting people's hopes up, allowing the community to fight, and slowly trickling in more concept trailers to fuel the fire is exactly what they needed to keep this game in the public sphere at least long enough to be noticed by investors. This is not a personal take. This is objective truth. Just look at it without your rose-tinted glasses for just a little bit, and you'll realize that everything is part of the plan. I'm not even saying it's a good or bad thing. I'm just telling you how it is. But I digress. On October 19th, 2021, they posted another dev journal on their Patreon. They've hired some new people, now having 7 full-time devs in the office. They mentioned they would really like to show something from the game, but that they gotta follow the plan and not spoil any important information. This is where things start to get a little dicey, in my very cute and tiny opinion. Ahem. Many people ask if there will be more trailers before the release of the playable demo. We do not exclude this possibility. When? Top secret. Well, the only issue I have with this is that their first solid plan of the game was to have a demo finished. Between May and October is 5 months, meaning their deadline, if they were to be believed, is that they have 3 months left. I wonder if they ever released a demo. I guess we'll have to wait and see. The 4th devlog on November 19th, 2021 isn't so important, but there is an interesting tidbit here, which is that they had transitioned their project into Unreal Engine 5, a version of the engine that wouldn't leave early access until May of 2022. And you might be wondering, why is this relevant? Well, because I developed a small indie horror game on that engine while it was in early access, and I'm gonna tell you right now, it was a rookie mistake when I did it, and it is absolutely a rookie mistake for them too. The use of Nanite and Lumen, 2 mind-blowing techs that are undoubtedly awesome, are not useful to a project this early and actually might be detrimental due to having to develop around the bugs and limitations. Something that is mentioned in later devlogs, but who cares? Something that a more experienced team would have foreseen and opted to avoid until much later when the tech became more stable. If you're still wondering how any of this is relevant, look, I think it helps to paint the overall picture a little better. Is this a group of scammers, or is it an overly ambitious and unexperienced group of developers making mistakes? Well, it's 2021 right now, so we don't know yet, dumbass. Oh, wait, no, it's 2022. On January of 2022, they showed a teaser. And from this teaser, they also announced that Nick Apostolidis, the voice actor for Leon Kennedy in Resident Evil 2, would be voicing the main character of the game, while Alec Gillis, a legendary special effects artist, would, I'm assuming, assist with special effectsy stuff. I find it kind of ridiculous that this announcement is made, because the teaser itself isn't a real teaser. It's another concept teaser made just for this announcement. Remember, up until this point, the furthest they've got to actually working on the game is asking people what they think weapon handling in their FPS game should be like. They don't have a playable demo, and only just recently did they transition their project into Unreal Engine 5 from UE4. Basically what I'm saying is they don't have shit to show, but they gotta show something. So they did. Brother Oleg must have been working some crazy overtime hours here. The 5th and 6th dev entries are from February to May 30th of 2022, and they aren't full of any substantive info, but they bring up the political tensions between Russia and Ukraine, and mention that they don't anticipate any issues with development from this. You gotta understand, Team Clout operates out of St. Petersburg in Russia. I normally wouldn't bring politics into things, but we're trying to determine whether these people are scammers or not. And an ongoing war is a pretty damn good reason for delays, and they're admitting to outsourcing a lot of their work to freelancers in Ukraine is a big deal, because they're counting on Ukrainian developers and artists to not be displaced or inconvenienced by a war that is literally happening at their doorstep. But they say development hasn't been hindered, so we'll take them at their word, I guess. It should be noted that people are asking for more updates at this time, something that they definitely didn't do much of in 2022. Just for reference, there were 31 Patreon posts in 2021 and only 8 in 2022. That is less than 1 per month. This ain't a good sign for a game that was supposed to have a playable demo 10 months ago. People are beginning to notice signs of neglect from Team Clout, and Team Clout is starting to notice that noticing of neglect. And even then, it wasn't until October 9th of 2022 that we finally got our 7th dev journal entry. This entry is basically an apology for what's happening in the world. Who could have seen this coming, right? They're just saying that the main goal of the team is to build a solid game prototype. And that's it for the entire year of 2022. Only 8 posts. And we can go through the entire Patreon together, but that would take forever. So I'll sum everything up and you can just put your trust in me. It's not like I've ever revealed a game and then didn't deliver it. Okay, but wait, that game is real, see? Anyway, there are 3 posts from 2023 that I want to mention, but I won't drag it out. Basically, they're telling everyone who wants a playable demo to shut up because it's a huge deal to release a game of this scope. What is the scope again? What layer of concept game are we at right now? Does this character even have legs when he looks down? Whatever. No, but seriously, if you thought you were getting a demo, dude, you should have known better. This other post is spicy though, because it's the first time they acknowledge the scam accusations. Okay, so I'll read this out to you and then give my impressions as a totally neutral individual. The question that isn't actually a question. The rumors that this is a scam are getting too hard to ignore. I really hope you can deliver soon with a demo for the sake of the game. Best of luck. The answer: if we made the ill Patreon just to make some cash, we would probably post way more often with some cool animation work saying, "This is a game." It would be so much easier than actually trying to make a game. But we understand the worries and want to be transparent that it is hard. We have had problems and will have problems because game development is hard. If, for some tragic reason, we come to the conclusion that we need to give up, you guys will be the first to know. As of now, all is good. Okay, so to be honest, this holds up about as much as when Drake said he couldn't possibly be a cupcake lover because he's famous. If I wanted to scam people on Patreon, I would post significantly less and reassure people that the project is going well. Even if there was a cataclysmic event happening right next door. I do agree that game development is hard though. I also think they're doing a terrible job about being transparent, considering they posted 3.5 times less than the year before. Okay. Okay. This last post is so good though. It's unbelievably awesome to me because it's on May 14th, 2023, a whole 2.5 years after revealing the game, that the most fundamental piece of paper, the most quintessential compilation of information that details everything from the name of the main character to the scope of the project, the literal Bible of every game ever made, the game design document is finally finished. The game design document is finally finished. Woo! 2.5 years to determine the scope of our game. Woo! But wait, there's no time to celebrate. It's 2024 and we're acknowledging scam allegations again. Let's start with the most important. This is from a Q&A on their Patreon. Is ill a scam? If we weren't actually developing the game, we would have publicly announced that long time ago. We understand how frustrated it might be to see active Patreon that earns money with no updates whatsoever. But we are in a situation where we chose partly crowdfunding approach at the beginning, but then realized that the game is planned to be big, that we need to follow a more classic approach for marketing and release roadmap. Therefore, all we do is under NDA. All we publish here will spoil elements of the game and its story, and that's cool to do for the people who invest their money here. Unfortunately, there is a risk of these materials being posted elsewhere. I'll try to collect some materials and show in the following post today or tomorrow. I personally love how this reads like, Sorry that we're big ballin' and you're not, and that's why you're hating on us, but trust me, I understand why you would hate, because we're big ballin' and you're not. Unfortunately, it's not possible to prove whether any of this is true or not. It's very possible that the team might be under NDA, but let's just follow that logic for a bit. Wake up, f***er. It's time to think. If you were the publisher or investor of a game that you invested a ton of money into, and thousands of people, if not tens of thousands of people, start accusing the team that you invested in of being scammers, wouldn't you immediately do something to disprove that? We're talking about hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars here. Why would you be okay with people thinking your investment is a scam? And as that investor, wouldn't you also be afraid of being scammed? It just doesn't make any sense to not nip this in the bud and come out with a full press release saying, yes, we're real, the game is real, and here's some proof, so shut up and let us work. If you did this, you wouldn't even need to update your Patreon anymore. You certainly wouldn't need to address all these scam accusations or ignore them and then even look more suspicious because of it. This is just wrong. But still, I haven't really found a solid piece of evidence to suggest the entire project is a scam. I mean, are they terrible managers of information and absolutely awful at meeting deadlines and totally ignorant or unaware of community sentiments and unbelievably inept when it comes to addressing their community? Yes, they are. But finally, at the end of 2024, on December 18th, they announced changes to their Patreon, and this is where Team Clout mentions that they've signed with a new partner. A partner that would finally give them the legitimacy they couldn't get for themselves, despite having like a million opportunities to do it. Well, actually, no. It wasn't until June of 2025. That's right. It was literally this month, if I'm not lazy and get this video out on time, that we get to hear about this mysterious partner that has been hinted at for 5 years and likely changed multiple times because Team Clout is an inexperienced mess of a team. No shade, I'm just being honest. But that no longer matters now. Things are looking up for Team Clout. Bold new trailers drop at high-key shows. They finally reveal their partner and publisher, Mundfish Games, the publishers of Atomic Heart, the game with the sexy robot twins. You know, the one, you fucking animal. Stop acting like you don't know. I wanted to talk more about the AI art stuff, but as I was writing it, I realized that all we really have is that one of the brothers likes to push AI art on their social medias, and I don't really care about that. It'd be one thing if it was in the game and we could easily tell, but we can't. So all we'd be doing is accusing them of using AI art without proof. And besides, for an artist like Oleg, an accomplished artist like Oleg, using AI art would be less like thievery and more like playing a game on easy mode to revisit the story after beating it on hard. He's really good. They definitely did the rest of that shit though. Lying by omission, spamming concept trailers, pretending like development is further along than it is. They're basically the ultimate fake it till you make it team of game developers I think I've ever seen. But at least this looks like a project that might actually come out. Having a team like Mundfish to supervise everything gives me faith that this is real because it's their reputation on the line as well. So I guess it's real, guys. Interestingly enough, what we have here is a far-fetched dream between brothers that had all the signs of being a scam and quite potentially was, to then becoming a real project thanks to Patreon crowd support and then eventually down the line investment from real partnerships. Crazy stuff, but the journey isn't over yet. That's just everything up until this point. There still isn't a release date, so we can count on this game coming out anytime between next year and never. But I do know this, if you want to stay up to date, you should like and subscribe and leave a comment about what sort of stuff you'd like to hear me talk about next. I'm also striving for weekly videos, so give me some love for that. And follow me on Twitch. I'm trying to get better at streaming, so having more eyes is always great. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all of you. Thank you guys so much for the support on the Silent Hill F video. It means a lot. Thank you, take care, and bye-bye.